I want to talk about our user interview process and how that informed our first set of basic requirements for this project, and then later our content strategy. So we began by asking our interviewees a set of questions. We had them prepared in advance, and we asked questions to get a general feel for what information people were searching for. So we began by asking questions not just about people's everyday experiences with their legal problems or health problems, but also what technology devices they use to help solve those problems. We asked a lot of questions, as you can see, and these were just some of them. Our interviews lasted over an hour, actually, which is really great. So these are some of the notes that I made. And then I actually did type them up. You see, we found important questions that we hadn't found out through our stakeholders, that people actually weren't just looking for legal advice, they were actually looking for driver's license, things like bank accounts, general ID, and things like, can I fly across the country? Will I be found out as being an undocumented citizen if I try and get on an airplane? And this is all very useful. So from there, we came up with, my group and I, some requirements. And these were just requirements based on the interviews that we'd had with both our users and our stakeholders. As you can see, we have quite a bit because they gave us a lot of information, so we were trying to parse it out. And from that, I came up with these three, I'm calling them user task scenarios. They're really just three categories of information that a user might come to the site looking for. So we had three different categories. A, I need a lawyer. And for this person, they are looking for legal specific advice. And our B was they're seeking information, just generally. It could be about public benefits or legal advice or something that we haven't covered yet in our interviews. C was that they're in trouble and they need help right now, that it's an emergency situation and they need right away to know who to contact and how to get help. We spoke to our stakeholders and collected a functions list, which may or may not have correlated with what our users told us was important to them. So from that, they gave us a list of content topics that they thought were important for our project, not having seen our user interview information. We collected that and we sort of allocated it into the categories that I'd already created. The I'm in trouble, the information seeker, and the person that's looking for just legal advice. I came up with their primary concerns, and then I looked at the content and tried to figure out how a person with that question or problem might sort through the content that we were given. From there, I developed a sitemap. And created formalized requirements to send to our stakeholders so that we were all aware of the project. We then had a meeting about our requirements. We had a priority list, and this was our absolutely must-have list, along with our nice-to-have list. And these actually have changed a lot since we wrote these a few months ago. So our requirements was that it needed to have a minimum reading level, things like that English is adequate for this version. We weren't going to make a separate translated language, that it needed to be printer friendly so that people could print it out and share this information, because that's sort of how our users were using their devices rather than only phone or only desktop. We wanted to build it in a CMS. We wanted to make sure there was no login for the site. We thought it was important that there be a legal disclaimer. We wanted our information to be dated. That was very important. And there's some other things in here too. So from that and the content that we were given, we sort of reanalyzed it from the perspective of our users, and we divided our content into questions like under finding the right lawyer. A question might be, what's a lawyer? Why do I need one? Can I trust a lawyer? What should I take with me to see a lawyer or an attorney? Do I need a second opinion? What should I expect? These are things that our users were concerned with, but that our stakeholders didn't understand. So we wanted to communicate with them that this was the perspective that the user was beginning at. And as a beginner, they needed explanation. So that's it for this video. Thanks.